sitting with my feet flat on the floor, knees right above the ankles. And as I was saying, I'm sitting forward on my chair because I'm short, right? So if you're taller and you can sit back in your chair, that's fine. But we still want to pull the belly in and lift our spine, pull that string out the crown of our head so that we're not leaning back against the chair as much as possible. Obviously, if we're leaning back, we do that. So take a few deep breaths, get into that diaphragmatical breathing. So as you breathe in, let that belly come out. And as you exhale, let the belly come in. Inhale and exhale. Of course, show up. It's just me on the screen. You don't have to worry about that. Good, and let's start our head turning side to side. Just going as far as you can without pressing that stretch anymore. Just let the stretch increase the more you do this. You don't have to force it. Good. How about a shoulder roll? Rolling those shoulders up and around. Remembering to breathe. Good. And now we're going to do our side bends. Opening those ribs, reaching down like you're going to pick something up off the ground right next to your chair. Good. And now we're going to go to knee extensions where we extend and bend at the knee. If you're standing, you can do alternating knees, small ones, just something to kind of get some motion at the knee joint. Good, and coming back up to the upper body, let's turn our head side to side. And I want you to notice today how, the more we move, the easier that movement gets. So you might even notice the difference between the first time we turn our head side to side and this time that we do that. Good, and let's roll the shoulders. I'm hearing my dog bark outside. I forgot I left her out on that front porch. That's all right. She just tell everybody to stay off the sidewalk in front of our house. She's good at that. Good, and let's do those side bends. Side to side. Try to keep your rear end firmly planted on your seat as you do this. Good, even that out, and we're going to go to those extensions at the knee. Extend and bend at the knee. Sitting up nice and tall. Good, going back up to our upper body, this time ear to shoulder, side to side. So I've been spending the last 2-3 weeks now really focusing on my shoulders, trying to keep them loose, and it sure does make a difference. If you just commit to focusing on one area and doing different exercises. Let's go to our arms and let's punch. Get some twist in that torso. You really do notice a difference. So my goal is to keep doing these different shoulder exercises through the month of January. It's not that I want to stop then. I just really want to assess, and I can already tell that it's helping. So if you have something that's kind of hurting on you, and you want to know some exercises you can do, let's go take this to a twist. Let's have a conversation. Give me an email. Twisting side to side. And remember, we're not holding anything. Moving, getting that synovial fluid moving in our body. Good. Coming back to center. This time we're going to do those hamstring curls where we bring the heel under our chair. I want you to really try to keep your torso super strong here. So you're not moving around a whole bunch. You're not kicking the leg. It's all the muscle of the hamstring. And if you don't feel comfortable flexing your knee, if you have pain, don't do that, of course. Good. Come back up to our neck and let's go side to side. Moving at a pace that feels comfortable to you. There's no right or wrong here. Good, let's go back to those punches. And again, you can punch down if it doesn't feel comfortable to punch forward, but I do want you to try to get a little bit of rotation with those ribs. And even imagine them rotating around your spine. Good, and let's take this to that twist. We twist one direction and the other. If you're standing, it's the same thing basically. All right, just twist side to side. Good, and let's do our hamstring curls, bringing those heels underneath. So if you have a bar underneath your chair, sometimes it's hard to do this one. And if you don't like if you have pain when you bend your knees, just extend instead of flex at the knees. Listen to your body, let it guide you. I'm here to guide you to a certain point. Your body is really the boss, so listen to it. Good, let's go back up to our mouth. You know, this one we open and close our jaw to loosen that muscle. Good, bring our arms up and let's do those scap retractions. So squeeze the shoulder blades together. This is one of the exercises that I do every day, and it's made a huge difference. If we can get back in touch with those scapula and moving them, it'll make such a big difference for our shoulders and shoulder pain. Good, and relax. Let's bend over and scratch the side of our shins and come back up. And remember, we're keeping our back nice and flat. If you're standing, it's the exact same thing. It's just like you're bending down to stretch the side of your shins or the side of your knee. You want to keep your upper body super flat, not articulating at the spine. This is truly a hip hinge. We're just hinging at the hips. Good. Next time you're sitting up, we're going to do our heel toe where we go up on our toes and then go up on our heels. Go up on our toes, go up on our heels. Again, sitting up tall. Don't want to lose that posture. Super important. Our goal is to sit in good posture for the hour that we're together. If you do nothing else than that, you've done a ton. Good, coming back up to the jaw, and we're gonna do our chin tuck. Sorry, where we just tuck that chin in, and then go back to our normal posture. Tuck it in. It almost feels like you're stretching the back of the neck, right? Chin tuck. We're not dropping the chin, just tucking it in. Good, and scapular retraction. So squeeze those shoulder blades. So remember, think about moving your arms by squeezing your shoulder blades. Instead of thinking about pulling your elbows together, just think about pulling those shoulder blades together, and that will pull your elbows together. Sometimes our intention makes a big difference in what we move during an exercise. Good, let's bend down and scratch those shins. This is our modified deadlift, our hip back extension. Right? If you're standing, it's pretty much the exact same thing. Warming up those glutes, warming up the core. Good, next time you're sitting up, let's go to the heel toe, alternating. So up on your toes, up on your heels. Dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Remembering to breathe. Moving into our warm up a little bit more, just a little bit. We're going to tap our hands at our chest, squeeze our fists at the bottom, and then just kind of inch your arms up to where you're going to your face and to your forehead. And then eventually, if comfortable, we're going to do about 4 claps overhead. Squeezing the fists at the bottom, so warming the hands at the same time. Good, and relax. And what we're going to do is scratch our shins. So right heel to left shin, and we're going to pull that heel up the shin, trying not to lean back. And remember, you might not have a lot of range of motion. That's okay. Do what you can. This is one, right? So if you, let's go to the other side. If you struggle with this one and you don't have structural damage that you're dealing with, then this is one that you would do every day and see if you can improve this motion. Because what we're working to do, of course, is put our foot on our knee, right? Which can be hard. Good, relax that. We're going to go back up to the upper body. Last time, hold the chin, hand clap, sorry. Hand claps. So when you can get overhead, we want 4 overhead. Squeezing the fist at the bottom. If it doesn't feel good going overhead, don't. Good. And now we're going to, oh, did I did that wrong? Oh, it doesn't matter. Let's do our side punches. Sorry, you guys. Side punches here. Now I'm all out of whack. It's all right. I'll get caught back up. It'll happen. Good. Relaxing those arms. Let's step side to side. Opening those hips. And we want to keep the hips forward so that we're only wanting to open up our legs as far as they'll go without twisting our torso to really warm up that glute medius, which is the top of the torso here. I mean, top of the glutes, excuse me. Good. All right, and now we're going to do that shin scratch again. So right foot to left, or right ankle, right heel to left ankle, sliding it up, trying not to lean back. Go as far as you can go. It doesn't matter if it's an inch. Doing 4 or 5 of those, switching to the other side. So if you have a really tight IT band, this one's going to be really hard. This is one that I struggle with because of that really tight IT. You have to be really careful because it can pull on your knee and cause injury. Good. And relax. Good. We are going to do these punches again because I kind of went out of order. That's okay. Side to side punches, a little bit more into that warm up, a little bit more aggressive motion here. Do what feels good to you. Good. And relax. And let's take the leg out and in. Out and in. Maybe we're able to get rid of some of the early day crusts that might be on our bodies, warming up a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of movement here. We're not specifically going to do our cardio, but I want us to get to a march. We're still going to focus on strength today, but I'm thinking we might do a little bit of cardio before strength. On Tuesday, we did it opposite. Just get a little bit more movement. Let's go to a one arm, one leg out to the side. Going at your own pace. So this is one that if you had music and you wanted to play it, you know, sometimes I do play music, but for this one, I want you to go at a pace that's a little quicker than you want to go. That's all. It's not as fast as you can go. It's just a little quicker than you want to go. We're going to stick with this one arm, one leg, but this time we're going to go forward. One arm, one leg. Belly in. You might feel this transfer up into the torso a little bit. Good. Now this next one's a little bit harder, and you do not have to, especially if you're standing, you're just going to do alternating knees. But if you're seated, we're going to see if we can clap under each knee. And if you can't clap, that's okay. Just hit the top of your knee. No big deal. Definitely takes flexibility and strength to do this. So if you're building those up, do what you can. We're just on the road to it. It's all good. Woo, good. Let's go back to our run. All right. We're going to do all those one more time, and then we're going to get a little bit more into it. Just kind of running. Think about how your arms move when you run. Your elbows should move forward and back. So it's not just to bend and straighten at the elbow. It's motion at the shoulder. Again, of course, if that doesn't cause pain, that's what we want. And now one arm, one leg out to the side. I'm going to challenge you this time, if you would like to, try to do opposite arm, opposite leg. If that doesn't work for you, if that makes you stop, then forget it. And just do the same arm, same leg. Sitting up nice and tall. Remember, hips stay forward for the most part with this. And now we're going to keep with this alternating, opposite arm, opposite leg, but we're going to go forward. Kick our leg forward. If you can get that opposite arm, opposite leg thing going, great. If you can't, then it doesn't really matter. Just a little bit different. Sitting up nice and tall, warming up those abdominals. Remember, anytime we keep that neutral spine, we're giving those abdominals a workout. Let's go to those knees. So again, if you can clap your hands under, great. If you can't, doesn't matter. You can just tap the top of your knees, and that's absolutely fine. Lift the knee as high as you can comfortably without pain. Working those abs a little bit more. Good. And let's go back to that jog. All right, we're getting somewhere now. We're getting somewhere. Excellent. This time, we're going to do both arms, one leg, jumping jacks. So same as we did before, but this time both arms, one leg. Moving again at that pace that's a little bit quicker than you want to go. Not as fast as you can go. Two different things. Right? I want a good moderate pace. Usually we don't move at a moderate pace unless we're kind of have a focus to do so. Now we're going to change this same idea, going forward and back, both arms, one leg kick. If you're standing, you can make this a hamstring curl if you wanted, or you can make it a heel on the ground, or you could even just kick, right? It doesn't have to be a big kick if you're standing. Good. All right. Now we're going to do those knees again, but this time instead of reaching under the knee, we're going to reach up overhead. And you can do one arm, one leg, or if you're feeling like it, you can do both arms, both legs. If, you know, my shoulder's a little tweaky today, so I might stick with one arm, one leg. But if you're feeling good, do both. Ooh, we're getting there, you guys. Promise. And let's jog it out. You know I like cardio. If it were up to me, we'd do all cardio. Thing is, that's not the answer. The answer really is, weight training, right? The answer is really weight training and getting your heart rate up while you weight train. Let's do those jumping jacks again. One leg, both arms. But cardio is just so good for our emotional state, just to move our body. And no, there's nothing saying that we can't do a good job with this seated. Woo! Oh my goodness. Let's go back to both arms, one leg, forward. We're not quite done, but we are way closer to being done than we were when we started with this cardio. Starting to do about 10 minutes today, and we're getting there. Good. All right. One or both arms overhead. Lift the knee. Your choice. It can be the same arm, same leg. It can be opposite arm, opposite leg. Pay attention to those shoulders. Keep the shoulder blades pulled down as you reach up overhead. This one's going to get your heart rate up. I'm not going to lie to you. Try not to lean back. Woo! Good. All right. We're going to transition. Let's just punch. Let's just punch those arms. This is kind of a medium pace punch to the front. Not quite at speed bag yet. That's coming. Not quite there yet, though. Punch those arms. Now what we're going to do is change this to one arm each direction. Kind of that side punch like we did at the warm-up. But now we're moving a little quicker. Just faster than you want to. Good. Now I want one arm 8 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can always punch down. 6, 7, other arm. 1, 2. If you're not at my pace, that's okay. Go at your own. We'll catch back up right here. You ready? Speed bag. So whenever you're ready, you go to speed bag. You don't have to start right when I do. Now this is as fast as you can go. Right? But don't get going so fast that you don't have range of motion. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Come on, come on, come on. Relax your shoulders, relax your shoulders. Good, and relax. We're just going to shake our arms out for a second. Ooh, good job. Just shake those arms out. Excellent. All right, last round. You ready? Got a few more seconds. And let's punch those arms. Now this is at medium speed, not the speed bag. We might call this double time and the speed bag quadruple time. Right? So this is half as fast as that. And now we're going to those punches, 1, 2, side to side, alternating. Remember, if your shoulders are they're just like, I can't do this, punch down. You don't have to punch side to side. That's okay. Belly in nice and tight. Good. Come on. Now you're ready. One arm 8 times. Here we go. 1. Doesn't matter. 2, 3. Go at your own pace. 4. Just count them out on your own if you need to. 7. If you like, switch sides. Don't worry. We'll catch back up on those speed bags. If you're behind me or ahead of me, speed bag is next. Ready? Here we go. Now we're doing quadruple time. We're trying to hit that bag as many times as we can. These 15, 20 seconds. Punch as many times as you can. Hit that bag. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Imagine whatever you want to punch out of your life. Right? Punch it, punch it, punch it, punch it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And relax. All right, while we're letting our arms relax, we're just going to step side to side with our legs. So we're initiating that lateral motion, and then there's a medial motion. Right? This one, if it's better, if it's easier for you to kind of rotate on your seat, that's fine. Whew. All right. Good job. Let's roll those shoulders. Excuse me. All right. We're going to go to our upper body and do some strength. So if you have weights, grab them. If you want to use them today, of course, I always encourage you to use your weights because life is heavy. It's not light, right? Groceries are heavy. Laundry is heavy. All that stuff weighs something. And if we're not prepping ourselves for that, then we're not prepping ourselves for it. And that's why we're working out, right? We're not doing this for our good looks, right? All right, so hands on the knees. Sit up tall, lift your chest, and let's pull those elbows back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm getting warm. I gotta take this vest off. 6. Squeeze those shoulder blades. 7, 8, 9. One more. 10. Good. Bicep curls. Ready? So bending and straining at the elbows. Keep going. There's 1, 2. Keep moving. 3, 4, 5. Then in the front of the elbow. 6. Front of the upper arm. 7, 8, 9, and 10. From here, we're going into our straight arm lifts, straight out to the front. Ready? Here we go. 1, belly in nice and tight. So this is not only shoulder, but it's core, right? So we're controlling the weight on the way up and down and pulling the belly in. So we're working a whole bunch of stuff here. I don't want to work just one muscle. What a waste of time, right? Let's work at least 2 or 3. And I think all of us in this class know that if we're sitting up tall, we're definitely working our core just there, which is great. 2 more. 2. Last one. 1. Good. Now we're going to go into our triceps. Y'all know these. We're going to pull the elbows back, straighten and bend at the elbows. There's 1. So we use these exercises because they're proven to make a difference, right? Bending and straightening at the elbow. Doesn't mean other exercises aren't good. We at least like to start with the ones that we know are going to produce results. And those are the row and the tricep and the shoulder. There's 8. 9. Really squeeze that arm straight. 10. Good. Keeping the weights in your hands, we're going to do our deadlifts. All right. So we're staying seated. If you're standing, great. It's the same thing. We're going to reach down like we're going to pick something up that's right next to our ankle. And then when we sit up, we're going to squeeze our butt. So we're going to bend down. After we grab that thing, squeeze your rear end to extend the hip. So here's our hip hinge, our flexion. And now we squeeze our butt to come back to our good seated position. You got to really squeeze your rear end because you don't have to use it. You can use your low back. We don't want to use our low back. We want to use our glutes. Those are our powerhouse muscles. And if this is too much for you, make it smaller. It doesn't need to be all the way down, especially if that gets you lightheaded. Squeeze, almost like you're picking, bending down to pick up your dog or your cat. Squeeze, there's 10. Good job. We're actually going to set these weights down. And we are going to grab our band. If you don't have a band, don't sweat it. I want you to just pretend like you have a band. So again, we want to start with our band being taut, or there'd be no slack in there. If you can do this standing. You don't want it so tight that you can't control. And it depends on what color band you have, right? All right, so putting your hands shoulder height, if that works. If it doesn't, take them lower. Pull your shoulder blades to your body. Pull those shoulder blades together. Maybe not as much as we do in our rows, but like a scapular retraction. And now we're going to further that scapular retraction by taking our arms away from each other. There's 1. Good. And 2, unfortunately, the only person I can see here, not unfortunately, I'm very happy to see Sharon. And she looks great on these. It's nice and controlled. I would love to see everybody. Take those arms apart, barely touch that chest with the band if that feels comfortable. Here's 6. And 7. 8. Try to relax your shoulders while you do this. I know that's counterintuitive. 9. 1 more. 10. Good. Relax. One of the misnomers with shoulders is when we're working, we need to be shrugged, and that's not what we want. That's very, very different than those deltoids. So look good. All right. Grab your weights again. We're going to go through all of those again. And we are going to combine. Well, no, we're not going to combine. I wanted to do a couple different ones today. So we are going to do our rows, just like usual. Hands on the knees, sitting up tall. And we're going to squeeze the elbows back. So see how this one's a little bit different, but it's very similar to that one we just did with the band. It's all about squeezing those shoulder blades together, getting in touch with them. But it's a little bit different when your arms are right next to your body and your elbows are close. And remember to breathe. Here's 6. Here's 7. And 8. We're more than halfway done with class. 9. 1 more. And 10. All right, so instead of doing biceps next, we are going to do our shoulders. So before we did the straight raise out to the front, you're welcome to do that again. Or you can go out to the side laterally. So you need to be careful if your shoulders are crunchy or anything. It's not an unsafe motion, but you need to feel what your body feels like when you do that. So we're going to start with 5 alternating, and then we'll transition into both arms if you feel comfortable. Ready? So we're going to lift out to the side. 1. Notice how bent my elbow is. 2. It's not a straight arm. There's 2. And it's only about shoulder height. You don't need to go higher than that. We'll go higher than that on the overhead press, right? Here, just going to shoulder height. There's 3. And you'll feel the difference when we go to both arms. There's 4. Nice control. Looks good. 4. 5. If you want to transition to both arms at the same time, now is the time. If not, just keep alternating and feel the difference. It taxes that core a lot more. Only look to that shoulder height. Try not to swing them up there. Looks good. Good. 2 more. 2. And one. Excellent. All right. Give those shoulders a little break. Bicep curls. Palms up to the ceiling. There we go. Bend and straighten at the elbows. So bicep curls probably my least favorite. I love this motion, but it's my least favorite to do in class because we do this during the day. But it's still a good one to do. This motion is very functional. We do it all day long. Right? Bend and straighten at the elbow. Bend and straighten. Sitting up tall. Remember, no motion in the torso. If you're standing, same thing applies. One more. Good. And now we're going to go right into our triceps. So we're going to take the elbows back and straighten and bend the elbows. 1, 2. Try to relax your shoulders. You know why I say that so much is because my shoulders are always shrugged, right? So half the time instructors give cues, they're really cueing themselves. We just bet that there's somebody in the audience who also could benefit from that cue. Really straightening the arms, working the tricep. Got to keep those triceps strong. Here's 9. Last one. 10. Good. And relax. All right. Not quite done here. We are going to do some overhead if you feel comfortable, and we're just doing one arm at a time. If you don't want to go overhead, you're going to lift straight out to the front, or you can go out to the side again. Just doing 10 overhead, belly in nice and tight. If you want to do both arms, great. You're doing 10, but we're going to alternate. All right, you ready? Here we go. So we're going to reach 1 and reach 2. One reason I like to do one arm at a time is because it really makes you keep your core tight. But of course, most of the time we're reaching overhead with both arms, right? Not just one. So if you're doing both arms, you might be at 10 already. Please feel free to take a break. There's 5. 5 of the singles. 6. 6 of the singles. 7. Try to put those weights right above your head. If you can, if you have the mobility. If you can't, don't force it. Gonna have one more of these. Excellent. Relax. Let's do our deadlifts. Bend down and squeeze your butt to stand up. Every time you bend down to the floor for the rest of your life, I want you to think about squeezing your rear end. Whether you're seated and you're reaching down to get something, or whether you're standing. Right? Next time you reach down to pick up that bag of groceries, squeeze your butt. Next time you reach down to grab your backpack and stand up, squeeze your butt. Get in touch with those glutes and scapula. Those are the 2 areas that we lose touch with, and it causes all sorts of issues. 3 more. Down. Don't have to be a big motion. 2. And the last one. 1. And squeeze. Excellent. Setting that those weights down. Grabbing your band. All right, so this time, instead of putting our hands out to the front, we're going to put them up overhead if that's comfortable. If not, you're straight out in front again. All right, same idea though. All right, so let me scoot back a little bit so you can kind of see that. All right, so from here, we're going to take those arms apart, let that band touch the chest, and then come back up. I love the band because it really gets us in touch with controlling this motion. You wouldn't want to do this with dumbbells because it's not going to be the same. Gravity plays a role here. Squeeze those shoulder blades, just like you were doing on the other one. Pull those shoulder blades together. Pull them down and together on your back. This is going to help with our posture. We got 3 more. 3. Trying to get that band to touch your chest. 2. Excellent. Last one. On. Ooh, good job. Set that band down. Grab some water. Take a break if you need to. Shake it out a little bit. We're going to transition to our legs. If you have ankle weights and you want to put them on, now is the time. All the things that we're doing seated, of course, can be done standing. That's what I love, is both work, seated and standing. If you can stand, the benefit is you're practicing your balance, but seated exercise is very much legit as well. All right, so I'm skipping the weights today because I got something going on my hip, and I just want to get range of motion today. We're going to start with our right leg, and we're going to start with our lateral motion. We take that leg out to the side. So sit up nice and tall. Ready? Here we go. Take it out. 1, and back in. 2, as far as you can go without twisting your body. 3, and without pain. 4, you can slide that leg. You can lift and lower it. If you're on carpet, you can lift and lower it. If you're standing, it's a straight leg out to the side. Just that straight leg out to the side. There's 8, 9, and 10. Going right into the left leg. Ready? Here we go. Out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Excellent. Going back to that right leg only, we're going to do hamstring curl. So standing, it's the same thing as seated. If you're standing, make sure you have something to balance on. Ready? Here we go. So flexing at the knee. 1. If this causes you pain with weight, do it without weight. 2, 3, we're just working on the flexion. 4, so putting the foot flat on the ground in between. 5, squeezing the back of that third leg. 6, same thing standing. 7, 8, 9, sitting up tall. And 10. Good, let's go to the other side. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, keeping that upper body still. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Feet flat on the floor. We're going to work in some abdominal exercise here. It's not the only abdominals we'll do, but we're going to do the one where our hands are out in front, feet flat on the floor, so having the weights on won't matter. And we're going to open at the hips and then come back to our neutral, where we're just sitting up. If you're standing, this one's a hard one. Don't really do this standing. I would say if you can get into an incline push-up position and hold that the whole time we're doing these 10. And if you can get on the floor, you do a plank. And that's going to be similar. You might not be able to hold it the entire time, though, if you're standing. Open and up the hips and come back to that seated position. 3 more. 3. If it hurts your shoulders, you can always cross. 2. Good, last one. 1. Excellent. All right, going back to our legs. This time starting with the left leg. We're going to do knee extensions. Ready? So straight out. 1. This one has to be done seated. 2. You can always lay on the ground, face up, and lift the straight leg up towards the ceiling. But this one is just a good seated exercise, working those quadriceps. There's 5, 6, 7, my little pup's going crazy. 8, the poor neighbors. 9, 1 more, and 10. Let's go to the other side. So you may have noticed I was leaning back a little bit there. I don't want to do that, right? I want to sit up tall. All right, you ready? Y'all should have said something. Here we go. 1, 2. At least I was kind of leaning back at the hips and not my low back. 3, 4, pull that belly in. 5, working the quadricep. 6, 7, 8. Ooh, that time goes fast. 9, at least it does for me. And 10. Good, and relax. All right, we're going to go up on our toes. Ready, calf raises. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. All right. So with the right leg this time, we're going to go out to the side. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2. I'm going to do a second round on most. Oh, I forgot one. Oh, well, that's okay. I'll do it after this. We're going to do a second round on many of the leg exercises. This is straight out to the side if you're standing. There's 6, 7, doing 10 of these. 8, 9, and 10. Good, let's go to the other side. 1, go at your own pace. 2, you want your movements to be controlled. And that usually means a little on the slower side. It doesn't mean that you're moving at a turtle's pace, right? There is some consistency of out and in, some intention of the out and in. There's 8, and 9, and 10. Excellent. All right, so the one I forgot was the sit to stand. So the options here, if you want to stay seated completely, is you just squeeze your rear in like you're going to stand. And then anything in between the two, right? You can stand all the way up and sit down, or you can barely stand up, whatever feels most comfortable, but you got to squeeze your butt, right? All of them require that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Squeeze 1 like you're going to stand. If you're standing up, great. 2, press your feet into the ground. 3, even if you're not standing, but imagine if you were standing, you want to push that floor away from you as you stand. Same idea when you stay seated. Squeeze your butt, push that floor. You got 5 more. Squeeze your butt and push that floor. Because that's what you have to do to stand up, right? It's a lot of hamstring, it's a lot of quadricep. We got 2 more. 2, wherever you're at, it's great. Last one. 1. Good job. Let's do our abs. So either plank if you're standing, if you're staying seated, it's that hip extension, and then hip flexion, belly in nice and tight. So pull the belly in. You should feel it getting tight here. We're not rounding at the low back. That's what we're trying to teach our abdominals to do, is keep that low back from rounding. That's our best defense, right, from that rounding low back. Almost done with legs, you guys. Remember to breathe. Here's 7. We're almost to the stretches, I promise. 8. I might be off 1. That's okay. If we do 1 extra, that don't matter, right? There's 10. Excellent. We're going to do our second set of heel raises, plantar flexion. If you're standing, it's the same thing. There's 1, 2. You can always count your own. 3, sitting up tall. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Working those calves. And 10. All right. If you have on ankle weights, take them off. We're not quite done, but almost done. And the next thing we're going to do are our twist and then our hip raises, and we don't want weights for those. So if you're standing, the twists are going to be basically the same. If you're standing when we do our hip raises, that's going to be the same as kind of doing a side bend, and you can always have dumbbells in your hands if you want it for that. So we're going to start with our twist. So we're going to put our hands up in those go post position and just start by twisting the upper body. We're not moving those hips, just twisting that upper body. And now if you like, you're going to add a lift with the opposite knee, the knee you're turning towards. And it doesn't need to be a high lift to add that little extra that we need in our abdominals. And those elbows can be low if that's too much for your shoulders. Just think about twisting your shoulders. It just helps sometimes if you have your arms out. Here's 5. No, 6, sorry, and 6. 7. Belly button stays straight. 8. 8. 9. And 10. Ooh, and 10. Good, relax those arms. And now we're going to do 10 on each side of the hip raise. And we're going to alternate. So you're going to lift that one hip and the other. If you're standing, you can do those side bends. So we're trying to close the gap between your rib and your hip bone, that arch of that hip bone and the bottom ribs. So try to keep that upper body basically straight. I know mine doesn't say straight. I get that. Good. This is 6 for me. 7. If you're at a different count, stay with your count. 9. One more. Excellent job. Relax it here. Let's shrug those shoulders up and then back down. We're transitioning into our cool down and down. One more time. Shoulder shrug up and down. Pulling those shoulders down, pulling them back. Good posture. Let's let the chin drop. Stretching the back of the neck if this is comfortable. And then coming back up to center and looking over the right shoulder and then left shoulder. Coming back to center, drop that chin. Same thing, come up and look over one shoulder and then the other. Doesn't matter which one. We do that a third time. Drop the chin. Come up. Look over one side. Look over the other. Good job. Let's take one leg straight out in front of us, and we're going to do our windshield wipers. So internal and external rotation at the hip. So the whole leg is twisting in and out. Your knee should be moving, your toes should be moving, all in unison, right? Because it's all really, I know it's multiple bones, but they're all pretty well attached, or at least should be. Good, let's go the other leg. Take it out, and internal and external rotation. This is also one that's best, it's just, I think, easier to administer seated, but you could definitely do it standing if you wanted to. You probably just need to hold on to something. Internal and external. This is one of those that I've been doing. Definitely getting better at it. It's amazing. Good. Relax. Put both feet together. And we're going to externally rotate our knees. Heels stay together. And then come back to that starting position. Externally rotate. And then come back. Externally rotate. And then come back. External. Sit up tall. This gets those glute medius as well. It's a little bit different way. I really like this exercise. Just a couple more of these. Keeping those heels together. Just going out. And one more. Good. And relax. Excellent. Let's take one foot up and roll the ankle around. Let's go the other direction. Good point flexion. You can always get water if you need it. Good. Other side. Roll that ankle around. other direction. Get all those snaps, crackles out of there, and then point and flex. Good. All right. Straight leg out in front of you, and then we're going to lean forward to stretch that hamstring. Trying to keep your back really flat here. So if you're flexible, you could be way, way down. But if you're not super flexible and you start to articulate the spine, that's not what we want. You're going to hold this for about 30 seconds. Remember to breathe. Good, come up out of that same leg. We're going to scoot over to that side of that chair and let the knee drop, or you can just turn in your chair and let that knee drop. Open the hips. Remember, if you are able to stand, even just standing, even if you're hanging on to something, can help open those hips. You know, that can be a stretch in and of itself. So you don't have to necessarily do this extra stretch. Good, and relax that same leg, just going to stay out there. We're going to stretch that in the thigh. I like to lean forward. I sometimes also like to twist, whatever feels good to you. Some people like to, bend, whatever works for you. Good, coming out of that stretch. We're going to take the other leg out in front of us. And hamstring stretch, leaning forward. Ooh, I can feel that one. This left hamstring gives me a hard time. The left side of my body basically is mad at me and has been for like 30 years. So I have to try to be nice to it. Calm it down a little bit. Good, and relax. The same leg, we're going to drop it off the side. Open the hip. I like to hang on to the chair. That just lets me push into this hip a little bit more without being worried about falling off. This is also one, of course, you can do standing. It's the same thing. I'm just not sitting on the chair, but you do have to use a lot more leg strength and balance. And that takes away from the stretch. So I do like it seated for that reason. Good. Back into our seated position and that leg out to the side. Stretching that inner thigh. And again, you can move forward. I finally got smart and moved some of my plants into this room. I guess I'm here to stay. Is at first it was like, oh, this room is just a temporary office, and then I painted the mural, and now I'm like, you know what? This is my office for the foreseeable future. I might as well get some good oxygen in here. Brought in some plants. Good. Coming out of that, find that seated position again. Let's take both arms out in front and just reach out in front. You can round your back a little bit here. We're getting close, you guys. Good, coming out of this stretch, and now take one arm across the body. So this is both, that one and this are stretching the same thing, but in a different way. Try to find what stretch works for you. Remember how important it is to get that sun on your face, even if it's through your window, even if it's just for a minute. So the beauty of living in Salt Lake City, relax. Even the winters are sunny, much different than other places I have lived, where it's just cold and gray. So even if you're not going outside to walk, prop yourself up in front of a window, get a little bit of natural vitamin D. Good, relax. Let's put those palms together. Then we're going to press the fingers out and come back in. Press them out and in. Just 3 or 4 or 5 of these. Good. When you're done with that, let's make a fist and open those fingers. this and open those fingers. And then we're going to touch the fingertips to the thumb, alternating. If you play an instrument, obviously this is probably something that you do before you play an instrument. If not, something that you want to do. It's something we should all do before we get on the computer. Right, let's roll those wrists around. Excuse me. Let's go the other direction. Good, let's take an elbow up, stretch that tricep up. Good and relax. Let's go to the other side. Elbow up, stretch that tricep. Good, and relax. Good, let's let the head just drop side to side. If you want to hold this, great. Do what feels comfortable. If you're holding it, go ahead and switch over to the other side. Good, arms right down to the side, and all you're doing is rotating your arms. So just like we rotated our leg, it's the same type of thing, rotating that entire arm as if it were one bone. Good, and the next time you have your thumbs out and up, we're just gonna take those arms back, like we're getting ready for a big, big, big hug. Good, take a deep breath in. Exhale and round that back. Inhale and open. I want you to really focus on the exhale. Exhale and round. Inhale and open. Exhale and round. Last time. Inhale and open, and this time we're just going to let those arms go to the side. And we are done.